What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Nash here. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another episode. What the hell's on my laptop? Seriously, there is something on my laptop. Come on, thank you. Sorry guys, there was something on my laptop. I had to get rid of it. Anyway, welcome to another episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. This week's episode, as I promised from last night, yes, I'll be doing the pros and cons for Hell in a Cell 2021. It's interesting because it feels just like yesterday that we had Hell in a Cell 2020, and if you don't remember the card that was on, if you don't remember the matches that were on the card, we had Bobby Lashley versus Slapjack for the United States Championship. We had R-Truth versus Drew Gulak for the 24/7 title, which was kind of interesting. We had Otis versus The Miz for the Money in the Bank briefcase. We had Jeff Hardy versus Elias, Bayley versus Sasha Banks for the SmackDown Women's title inside Hell in a Cell, Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton for the WWE title inside Hell in a Cell, and then of course Roman Reigns versus Jey Uso for the Universal title in the first ever I Quit Hell in a Cell match, in which there are no pinfalls, no submissions, no countouts, no disqualification. Only way to win is to make your opponent say the words "I quit" inside Hell in a Cell. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time, did it really have to be inside Hell in a Cell? I mean, think about it. Why make it inside Hell in a Cell when the I Quit match basically has the same theory, if you will, as Hell in a Cell, but the way to win is different. It's just that simple. The results from it was R-Truth rolled up Drew Gulak to retain the 24/7 title. Jey Uso said "I quit" to save his brother from further injury, and thus Roman Reigns retained the Universal title. Elias defeated Jeff Hardy via a disqualification when Jeff Hardy hit Elias with the guitar. The Miz defeated Otis to become Mr. Money in the Bank with the help of Tucker. Obviously, Tucker turned heel, and now Tucker has been released from his contract, and him and several others. Sasha Banks made Bayley tap out to the bank statement to win her first SmackDown Women's title inside Hell in a Cell. Bobby Lashley made Slapjack tap out to the Hurt Lock to retain the United States title, and of course Randy Orton hit McIntyre with the RKO to win the WWE title inside Hell in a Cell. If you look at the card from last night's card, I have to admit it was pretty fucking awesome. I have to admit. I mean, we got to see new tag team champions. We got to see new tag team champions in Rey Mysterio and his son Dom. We got to see Bianca Belair defeat Bayley in what was considered to be her most important title defense in her career. We saw Damian Priest defeat The Miz. Sheamus beat Ricochet on the kickoff show. Rhea Ripley retaining her championship. Bobby Lashley retaining his. And Cesaro proving to Roman Reigns he is a main event player. I mean, if you think about it, the big question now Roman Reigns has to ask himself is Cesaro, worthy of being called Universal Champion? Yes. The answer is yes, because Cesaro took Roman Reigns to the absolute limit, literally damn near breaching his breaking point. And, hang on guys. Okay. No, sorry guys, I was on my phone. I had to check my phone because I thought I got a notification. Anyway, that being said, the big question Roman Reigns has to ask himself is Cesaro worthy of being called Universal Champion? And the answer is yes, because Roman Reigns has never been taken to the limit like Cesaro did last night. I know that. Let's see. Let's take a look at the matches Roman Reigns has had since his return. So since his return, he regained the Universal Championship by defeating the Fiend and Braun Strowman with the spear to Strowman to win back the title. Clash of Champions, he defeated Jey Uso to his own cousin Jey to win the title. In fact, I think everybody. I think almost everybody had retained their titles. Yeah. Yeah. Wait, yeah. Again, yeah, I think yeah, pretty much everybody had won, and the only match on that card that wasn't like that never took place was obviously the women's tag team title matchup, but yeah, Jey Uso lost to Roman Reigns not once but twice, but this time again it was inside Hell in a Cell. Drew McIntyre had lost to Roman Reigns at Survivor Series. TLC, it was against Kevin Owens, and KO had lost because of Jey Uso. Royal Rumble, shockingly enough, Reigns was able to retain, which was pretty insanity. The Elimination Chamber, Roman Reigns had defeated Daniel Bryan after DB had survived the Elimination Chamber. Again at Fastlane, WrestleMania, we all know Roman Reigns has been unstoppable since returning last year in August, and it's interesting because now we're going into Hell in a Cell, one of the most unique and most dangerous pay-per-views of the entire year. It's funny because we all know when it comes to the pay-per-view Hell in a Cell, it always takes place in October. This is the first time that it's taking place during the summer, which is kind of interesting. So we now have to look at the pros and cons of this pay-per-view and what we can expect from this pay-per-view from tonight's episode of Raw going into the pay-per-view itself. So if you look at the Raw, if you look on the Raw side of things, you have from Backlash last night, you had the triple threat match for the WWE Championship between the champion Bobby Lashley and the challengers Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman. Let's start with that first, because Bobby Lashley cost Drew McIntyre the WWE Championship after he had just survived the Elimination Chamber a few months ago, and not only that, but because of that attack, the Miz was able to cash in the briefcase on Drew McIntyre, win the WWE title, and then only for the Miz to lose it to Lashley just a couple weeks later, which is interesting because now that Bobby Lashley is WWE champion, Drew McIntyre has been after Lashley for a while. With Braun Strowman, he's been after becoming a world champion since he lost the Universal title last year at SummerSlam to the Fiend in that no holds barred match, which I believe it was no holds barred. Was it no holds barred? Yes, I believe it was no hold barred. Yeah, yeah, I believe it was a no. It was a no. It was a no holds barred match. Wait, was it? Hang on. Yeah, I think it was. Yeah, 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 yeah. I believe it was no holds barred, and since then, Braun Strowman has been after wanting to become world champion. He tried to get into the Elimination Chamber match for the WWE Championship, but it didn't work out because he was a former Universal Champion, which again, those are two different titles. The way I see this, the way I could see this going is this becoming, I would potentially say maybe a Fatal 4-Way with the addition of Damian Priest, because if you guys remember last night, Damian Priest was able to defeat The Miz and put that rivalry behind him, because this rivalry had started when he debuted in the main roster back in January at the Royal Rumble in the men's Royal Rumble match, which again we all know during that pay-per-view we had the performance from Bad Bunny, who performed his song Booker T, which was obviously an homage to the two-time Hall of Famer Booker T, and The Miz destroyed his DJ's setup, and that's what sparked the rivalry between Bad Bunny and Damian Priest against Miz and Morrison, which for Bad Bunny it culminated at WrestleMania Night 1 when Damian Priest and Bad Bunny defeated The Miz and Morrison with a double team move to pick up the victory. Now it's come full circle. Damian Priest is done with Miz. Now he can put his focus on winning championships, which is going to be it could very may well be the WWE Championship, which if it becomes a Fatal 4-Way, you know damn well that it's going to be locked inside Hell in a Cell. That's the pro of it. The con of it is MVP saying, okay, you know what? Why put Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell? He don't want that. So, knowing MVP, MVP is gonna swerve his way into convincing Pierce and Sonya Deville to not put Bobby Lashley inside Hell in a Cell. We all know it's gonna happen. That's one thing that we also have That's one thing that we have to figure out is who is Bobby Lashley really going to face come Hell in a Cell. If Bobby Lashley says that he's done with Drew and with Drew McIntyre and Braun Strowman, then you know that Damian Priest is going to get involved. The Miz could even get involved again as well. When you look at the Raw Women's title picture, I'm just gonna be honest. I think this matchup, I think this rivalry may also end up inside Hell in a Cell, because Charlotte Flair knows Hell in a Cell. She was in the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match, I think back in 2016. If I remember right, I believe it was 2016. Let's see. I believe it was 20. I believe so. Let's see. Yes, it was. It was 2016. I remember because that was the night that history was made, and I think I did that one already. Did I talk about that one? Yes, I did. I actually did talk about that here on the channel. It's actually one of my older videos. You can actually watch the result video if you haven't already. Those videos were super cringy, but yeah, that was all the way back in the day. I know that my camera doesn't do it justice, but yeah, this was way back when I first got this book. And now look at it. The book is almost complete. Literally. So I think this matchup may end up having to take place inside Hell in the Cell, because Charlotte Flair is way too desperate. Charlotte Flair is way too desperate. She's desperate to becoming women's champion, so she could, just so she can break her father Ric Flair's record of 16 titles. She's desperate. She is desperate and obsessed. Asuka is she's also obsessed, but her reasons are different. She wants to take the Raw Women's title and elevate it to heights we never thought possible. Rhea Ripley is currently doing that right now. And if you look at the singles women's champions that we have in WWE, we have Rhea Ripley as the Raw Women's Champion, Bianca Belair as the SmackDown Women's Champion, we have Raquel Gonzalez as the NXT Women's Champion, and Kaylee Ray as the NXT UK Women's Champion. She's been champion for well over 500 days, which is incredible. She beat Bayley's record, so Bayley's record doesn't mean anything. Literally, it doesn't. So, the big question is, how will this rivalry play out? Simple. End the rivalry inside Hell in a Cell. Rhea Ripley wins. Charlotte Flair and Asuka are done. They're taken out of the Raw Women's title picture. New challenges come in. Plain and simple. As far as Sheamus goes, I don't know. Yes, he has been giving open challenges, but even we know that at some point he's gonna have to defend the United States Championship. It could be against not just Ricochet, but also Mansoor, who just got signed to Raw just a couple weeks ago, and I would say also Humberto Carrillo, but he's been taken out with an injury, so it could be another triple threat, but only time will tell. As far as we know, pretty much anything can happen when it comes to Hell in a Cell. But I think the one thing that we can also that we also have to deal with as well, especially on the SmackDown side of things, is the fact that with Cesaro now taken out with an injury, one has to wonder who's next for Roman Reigns. Personally, I think maybe Seth Rollins, because Seth Rollins is obsessed with Cesaro. He's obsessed with wanting Cesaro to embrace the vision. What vision? What my question is, what vision? The vision of a better SmackDown? I doubt that, because he called himself Seth freaking Rollins last night when Backlash went when WrestleMania Backlash went off the air, but he's still the same Seth Rollins that we saw last year, who tried to retire Rey Mysterio, and we all know what happened there. We know what happened there. So I don't know. I don't know. That's kind of a hard one to dispute as to who will challenge Roman Reigns. I mean, there's so much talent, in that SmackDown locker room. There's Big E, there's Apollo Crews, there's Sami Zayn, there's Kevin Owens. But I think we may end up seeing Kevin Owens get involved as well. We could see Seth Rollins. Only time will tell. And as far as the SmackDown Women's title, I think honestly, we may end up seeing Bayley, say, if you guys saw Twitter, saw Instagram, Bayley sent out, had posted saying that Bianca cheated and whatnot. I talked about it last night. Bianca's hair was part of her body, and legally she could use it. How is it an illegal weapon? The answer, it's not. So Bayley has no room to say anything. At all, in my honest opinion. But again, I think the SmackDown Women's title should also be. I think a lot of these rivalries should end inside Hell in a Cell, but if they don't end inside that structure, they're just gonna continue. So those are just some of the different pros and cons that could very may well take place leading into Hell in a Cell 2021 next month. But not only that, we also have, as well, NXT TakeOver In Your House 2, which I'm actually looking forward to that one. That one I'm looking forward to. Last year's card was actually pretty stacked, I have to admit. Last year's card was actually kind of interesting, I must admit. But I'm looking forward to this year's Hell in a Cell. Question of the day, that is actually going to do it for this video. Question of the day, what matches do you want to see take place inside Hell in a Cell? Let me know in the comments below. And that is going to do it for this episode of WWE's Biggest Issue. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, make sure you guys smash that thumbs up button. If you guys are new to the channel and you guys want more episodes of WWE's Biggest Issue, which gets posted every Monday, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and hit that notification bell so you guys do not miss out on any new content that comes your way. And be sure to check me out on Twitter and Instagram. All the links will be down in the description. And if you guys have fan mail that you want to send me and want me to open up on the channel, my address will be in the description as well. And on that, this is your boy Nash, signing out.